안녕하십니까. 한국경영학회 융합학술대회 특별세션에 오신 것을 환영합니다. 이번 세션은 중국 사회적 기업 창업과 한중 협력방안이라는 주제로 발표를 시작하도록 하겠습니다. 이 세션은 영어로 진행되기 때문에 영어로 제가 소개하도록 하겠습니다. Good afternoon, everyone. The topic of this session is about Chinese social enterprise startup and China-Korea cooperation plan. Now this session is also watched on YouTube. First, I am honored to host this session. I am Chongqing Park. I am a professor of University of Ulsan. First of all, I will introduce Chinese speakers and Korean panels. First speaker is Si-Yan. She is a founder and executive director of Shared Harvest Beijing Agricultural Development. She will have a presentation about community-supported agriculture, focusing on reconnecting people with land. Second speaker is Ya-Shi Zhang. She is CRO from a start of Social Innovation, Social Enterprise Development Promotion Center. She will explain the overview of policy and development practice of China's social enterprises. Last speaker is Tianlin Feng. She is a professor of University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. She will make a presentation on the multiple case study on organizational resilience in social enterprise. And first panel is Xuanlian Piao. She is a professor of Gangwon University. Second panel is Zhu Yanghua. She is a professor of Yonsei University. Last panel is Gang Pyo Lee. He is a professor of Seogang University. We are going to alternate presentation and panel discussion by turns. The presentation time is 15 minutes and discussion time is 5 minutes. Please make sure to keep the presentation and discussion time. It can be terminated if each given time is exceeded. Please understand this limited time for next session. Okay, first speaker, Si-Yan. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Yes, please make a presentation. First presentation.
Okay. I'm the director of Shared Harvest Farm, and I'm also the co-president of the International Community Supported Agriculture Network called Urgency. So I don't know if any of you knows about the model of community supported agriculture. It's a model first started in Japan and some European countries, and it's a concept of connect consumers and farmers directly, and also share the risk and also share the harvest. So actually, when I first started Shared Harvest CSA Farm is 2012. I graduated from Renmin University of China with also a PhD degree of rural development. But after I got the degree, I decided to become a real farmer. So I started this organic farm called Shared Harvest. At the beginning, we are a group of young people who really want to go back to the countryside and live and also work on the countryside. Then we actually our business model is called every week we will deliver a box of freshly produced organic vegetables and also other food produce to the city people, to their door, to their families. So each week our farm we have many different kinds of vegetables, and also we at the beginning in Beijing we have 3 hectares of land, And until now, we have 20 hectares of land, 3 farm bases in Beijing. We also raise some animals, combined with the plants. And also it's a core wisdom of Chinese traditional farming history, raising animals and planting the vegetables or other crops together, so that the ducks, their manure can be nutrition for the soil and also for the plants. Well, at the same time, they can also be a weeding kind of a weeding machine for the plants. So now in our team, we have about 60 people working and also living at the farm or the village. You can see from this picture, there are two, from the middle, there are 2 parts of the farmers. On the left, we call young farmers or new farmers, who mostly graduate from the universities and now working. They used to graduate from universities or college in the city, but now they go back to the countryside and work with us. As you know, some work as customer service, some working on the land. On the other side, on the right side, most of the farmers, we can call them elder farmers or traditional farmers. They were born in the village and grew up always in the village, and now they may be working on the land already for 40 or 50 years. So you can see the gap between those 2 groups. And on the left, the people are mainly between 30 years old, and on the right, the farmers are mainly between 60 years old. So it's a problem of Chinese rural situation now. Mostly who working on the land are elder generations of farmers. So we should ask ourselves, who will really take the responsibility of food security or food safety, or even protect our environment. So for our farm, we even only right now we have 9 years of 9 years of running the farm, but we already see the difference. Now we have very good biodiversities, and also our soil organic matter from 2013 to 2018, from 1.5% to 4%. It's a different big change. So from the ecology side, that's the ecology side, and also from the business side. From the beginning, we have 100. We provide about 100 families vegetable boxes in Beijing, and now we almost produced for 1,500 families in Beijing every week, and also with some schools and restaurants and the retail e-stores. Except vegetables, we also, because we have more and more young people want to join us. So some people, they in charge of raising animals or taking care of the fruit trees, and some of them they are making like tofu or other produce. And also we work with other CSA farmers. So now we have, in a season, we have more than 100 products in our online store, so that our members, our consumers, they can choose them. So our online food community, now we work. Now we work with 100, more than 100 farmers or food co-ops, or other individual farmers. And we also support some young people, about 40 young people, who learned at our farm, and now they go back to their own countryside or their own village to work as organic farmers. So we support them, because when they go back to their country, go back to their home, they also need market. So we can help them to, at the beginning, especially at the first 3 years, we can help them to sell their products so that they could only focus on how to produce how to learn the techniques of organic farming and really rooted themselves in the village. And our farm, we have also according to the season, we're also making some processed food. Like this is the moon cake. Actually now it's near the moon festival. So we're making the moon cake and also sell to our members. We use our pears, organic pears, making pear jams. And also we can sell this kind of pear jams. There is this kind of secondary industry. Also, part of our work is really focused on education, education for the children and also education for adults. We have many activities almost every week. We have like one-day farm tour and other participatory activity, and also summer camp. The other kind of education is for adults. We host a young farmers training class every month. About 20 people come to the farm and work, learning and also working for a week. So the teachers are also all from our farm. So we will have like technique class or marketing class, and even the how to use the online store, those kind of technician class, so that those people who doesn't have any backgrounds of farming, they maybe in the future they want to have their own farm, so they can come to the farm to Share Harvest to learn this class. And also we have many class kind of education activities for the city people. This is a rooftop garden at a very big shopping mall in Beijing. We help the shopping mall to build a rooftop garden, and this is mainly for education for urban farming for the many people who work in the city. They really can have a kind of enjoy and also learn how to grow your own food. Well, at the same time, we help organizing from 2010, organizing a national community-supported agriculture conference in China. From the beginning, only have 100 people participate, and until last year we hosted an online national conference. But before last year, every year we have almost 800 to 1,000 people participate in this conference. And this conference really formed our national CSE network, because every year there are many people come and discuss and talk. So now we have that's how we formed Chinese CSE network, national CSE network. So now almost every province in China, there are our networks. So farmers and consumers in different provinces, they organize themselves. And because the CSE network is mainly a kind of loosened networks, it's a coalition, farmers coalition. But 2 years ago, we found that we may need to go another step to really organize closely as cooperatives. So now we try to build 15 provincial cooperatives, and also registered our own certification, CSA participatory guarantee system. So this is mainly to help the small-scale farmers, because in China, for the third party organic certification is very kind of expensive and also lots of documentary work. So we set up this new kind of system, participatory guarantee system, to really service the small-scale organic farmers. And because now is the COVID-19 kind of between this kind of period, I think many of you maybe also want to know, because my topic today is about the resilient. Because in the past, many people and also food markets are really demands on, some are really demands on other province or even international markets to service the Beijing local vegetable produce. In the past, there are only less than 30% of vegetables in Beijing are produced in Beijing. So I still remember last year when there's a wholesale market in Beijing were stuck by the outbreak of COVID-19 in June, and so there are about 70 of the fresh food markets in Beijing are from that wholesale market. So there is a kind of a nervous time at that period. But for even for our farm at that period, because we are the local Beijing farm, we can very kind of rapidly react, and also according to our consumers' demands, we can in a very short time, and also from farm to table, there are no middle person, so it's even safer for the consumers. So from last year, our orders has increased about 30% of our farm sales, even better sales than before the COVID-19. So what inclusion for my conclusion, you can see this is a picture of a soil humus. When you see from the macro mirror, you can see this is a soil humus. And what I want to say is, if you have a good soil at your farm, that means if you have a floods or you have a drought, and your soil will give you better resilient, because it's like a sponge. When there are too much rain, the sponge, your soil, can suck the water into their structure. And when it's very dry, the weather is dry, the sponge, the soil, will give out their water to your plants. So if you have a good soil, you will have better harvest, and you have more resilient to the environment. So what inclusion at last, what I want to say is, this is a picture of me and my husband. We are with our farm donkey. So I was thinking at the COVID-19 breakout at the very beginning, when people are nervous, I was thinking that if someday we don't have any transportation, without oil or electricity in the city, how we can, but we still can deliver our vegetables into the city with the donkey. So that's our kind of way of making the farm more resilient to the big change now in the, there are many kind of challenge now in the international society. So making our society and also my farm resilient, I think that's a very important thing now for us and also for other social enterprise. Thank you.
Thank you for presentation. Next step, the Professor Pyo will give a comment or discussion.
Okay, thank you for Dr. Shi's presentation. Yeah, the activities of Shared Harvest Farm were really impressive. It is a grand news to have developed such social enterprises, as the food safety issues was the most concerned issues in Chinese people in the past. Dr. She has introduced that Shared Harvest Farm not only provide healthy food, but also revitalize the countryside. So I think the business model seems very similar to Hansalim cooperatives in Korea. Of course, if the two organizations are compared in more detail, there may be some differences. Hansalim in Korea was established in 1988 and have over 600,000 consumer households and more than 2,000 farms. So I think if the two organizations have some communications, it may have some good cooperation opportunities. And through your presentation, the case prompts some questions for me. First is about financial statement. I wonder whether your Shared Harvest Farm has reached the break-even point. And if you have already turned a profit, how do you handle or manage the profits? And second question is about the legal registered organization type for your Shared Harvest Farm. Is it just a social enterprise, or is there any other formal name? And is there any subsidy or support from the Chinese government? And the last question is the most highlighted question for Korean audience. As Korea is one of the nearest neighboring countries for China, would you like to provide your opinions on what areas that your enterprise or other Chinese social enterprise can have cooperation with Korean enterprises? Okay.
Okay, so can I answer now?
Yes.
Okay, thank you for your questions. I think for the first question, because Share Harvest, we are running our enterprise for 9 years. I think at the beginning, because for our model, community-supported agriculture, this model is when you have how many members, how many customers you have, then according to how many members, then you make your planting plan. So you can grow like 5 hectares of vegetables if you have 100 families. But if you have 1,000 families, you just have maybe 20 hectares of land. So according to the market, then making the growing plan. That's the CSA model. So actually from the very beginning, we start to make the balance of the farm. But at the beginning is all of our farm staff, our income, our salary are very low to make the farm can be survive as an enterprise. But now the farm staff and all the farmers working at the farm, our salary are growing to the kind of average, can be the kind of average Beijing income. So that's our kind of economic part. And for the profits, we now for the past 9 years, all of our profits are reinvest because we don't have an outsider investor. So every year we're making some profits. Then next year we need to invest in some greenhouse or maybe start a new project, that kind of projects. So now we don't divide the profits to the shareholders. And the second question for the registration, because now in Beijing, the government are also trying to set up some certification for social enterprise. But when you registered in the administration of the government for the company, there are no kind of division for social enterprise. So you can still register as just as an enterprise. So no kind of special registration now. But I think hopefully in the future maybe there will be a new kind of division. And then the third question, and also I heard you mention about Hansalin. I have been to Korea several times and also visit Hansalin. And later on, actually we built a kind of a connection with Hansalin several times online. We organize Chinese farmers and also our networks communicate online with some of their staff in Hansalin, and I think there will be. I hope we can have a closer relationships with them, and we really want to learn and also learn from them. And the third question is about in the future. In the future, I think because for share harvest and also for Chinese CSC network, we really have we have a very rich experience on how to organizing the training program of those kind of we call new farmers or farming social enterprise. How to set up your farm or how to make your business model and how to find your markets. So I hope in the future we can also have more communications with those kind of with the people in Korea who also trying to find their way to work on the farming or agriculture side.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you for your opinions. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Next step is Ms. Zhang will be present the overview of policy and development practice of China social enterprises. Are you set?
Okay, thank you. 안녕하세요. My name is Zhang Yaxi, and I come from China Social Enterprise Certification Center. I am so glad to be here and share our findings and works with you. Next page, please. Next page, please.
Can you control the presentation slide? Miss?
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll continue. First of all, what is CSECC? China Social Enterprise Certification Center has 6 initiators and was launched in 2016. It is the first comprehensive social enterprise service platform in China and provides nationwide services, especially social certification service for social enterprise from a wide variety of fields. By now, we have served over 2,000 potential social enterprises and identified more than 500 certified social enterprises in China. Next page, please. Next. Thank you. Chinese social enterprises has strong Chinese characteristics. The 5th plenary session of 19th Central Committee has pointed the way for the whole society as well as social enterprises in China. That is, meet the people's growing needs for better life is fundamental goal. Obviously, there are lots of challenges as well as historical opportunities for each of us. So we have the obligation, opportunity, ability, and need to participate in this historical process. Next. Here is a timeline of the social enterprise development in China. You can see that Shunde district in Foshan City launched China's first social enterprise standard in 2014, and China Charity Fire launched China's first nationwide social enterprise standard. Nationwide social enterprises standard in 2000. Yeah. Is there any problem? Can I continue?
Yes, please.
Okay, I'll continue my presentation, sorry. After amending the certification statutes in 2016, the first edition of CCF Social Enterprise Index was launched in 2017. 1 year later, in 2018, first-tier city Beijing and the quasi-first-tier city Chengdu carried out their official social enterprise certification, respectively. In 2019, the establishment of CSECC tends to be a milestone of a better ecology of social enterprises development in China. Last year, CSECC launched the second edition of Social Enterprise Index and put more effort on the impact measurement. Next, please. We carried out nationwide CCF social enterprise certification. From 2015 to 2019, we have formally certified 283 social enterprises around the world, around the country, covered 25 provinces, most of them from Guangdong and Sichuan province. Next. According to the research from Professor Yuan Ruijun from Peking University, top 10 cities in numbers of China CCF certified social enterprises have been changing these years, while Shenzhen never fallen out of top 3. Interestingly, Chengdu surpassed Shenzhen in 2018 and has a greater advantage in terms of quantity. Apart from Shenzhen and Chengdu, we can also see that more and more cities have joined us. As an old Chinese saying goes, a little spark may kindle a greater fire. We hope to see a brighter future. Next. In this page, we can see that majority of social enterprises has been existing less than 10 years and a full-time workforce less than 30 people, which means that currently China's social enterprises are still dominated by small and medium-sized social institutions. At the same time, there are still some established a long time, large-scale enterprises. So the overall structure of Chinese social enterprises are not bad. Next. Okay. In terms of fundraising situation, around 60% of social enterprises have raised funds between 100,000 and 5 million yuan. Meanwhile, near half of them has not achieved breakdown. break even, sorry. Next. Next, sorry. So let's come back to the definition of social enterprises. Although there are many disputes on the definition of social enterprises in China, there is still consensus based on 4 dimensions. Firstly, social mission. Secondly, innovation. Third, social entrepreneurship. And last one, clear results. In other words, although the definition of social enterprises is still unclear to the general public, more and more people believe that social enterprises will always possess both social purpose and business traits. Next, please. After years of work on social enterprises certification in China, we are increasingly aware of 10 major dilemmas in the development of Chinese social enterprises. Unclear definition may be the vital problem. Just like the last page showed, accurate definition and available metrics are important. Otherwise, favorable policy may not get to the suitable targets, even misleading the whole ecology. As for the whole ecology, neither capacity of social enterprises in China, now the industry chain, policy, public awareness, and the financing system is mature, so there is still a long way for us to go. Next. Although challenges and difficulties are notable, many social enterprises are rising stars with
오셨어요?
great...
네네.
Yes?
I'm sorry. Keep going.
Okay. Many social enterprises in China are rising stars with great potential due to the unique position and innovative approach to tackle with societal challenges and satisfying unmet needs, especially in underprivileged groups. So this part, I am honored to introduce some cases for you. The first case is Xihan Car Wash Center. Xihan got their Gold Club certification from CCF. The majority of their employees are mentally challenged people. They can't work independently without supervision, and their parents are always worried about their future. Since 2014, Cao Jun, who has a child facing these challenges, has been trying to provide employment for the special groups by co-founding Xihan Car Wash Center with 9 other parents. They all have the mentally challenged children. Over the past 7 years, Xihan has earned wide acclaim, public acclaim, and served as a good example of providing employment for the mentally challenged. An even more exciting aspect is that after some training, Xihan employees show great improvement in communication and physical coordination. Next. The second case names Long Life in Chengdu. Long Life is also a certified social enterprise with gold medal. As one of the first leaders and promoters of China's aging industry, Long Life has more than 30,000 users of actual demand feedback. In 2016, Long Life decided to offer and carry out a customized plan by using specially designed facilities and intelligent devices, which could enable the elderly to live independently, safely, and comfortably in a familiar environment. Long-life forms a business model of evaluation plus product plus service, and takes a combination of software and hardware of standardized product and services system as a core competitiveness. Next. Okay, the last case is Chongqing, more famous as the name of power solution, is committed to provide solar lighting products and comprehensive solar solutions for BOP people in areas without electricity around the world, not only in China. In order to enable more BOP people to use clean and environmentally friendly solar products, Power Solutions set up their own production line in 2012, thus realizing a complete supply chain from product design to manufacturing to sales, which not only reduces prices, but also ensures the quality. By the end of 2020, Power Solution has provided solar lighting products to over 5 million people, families, from 66 countries, benefiting more than 38 million people. Next. The last part refers to the regional development status of social enterprises in China. Overall, Chinese social enterprises are still at an early stage of development, but I would like to add another tag of rapid growth. Not only Shenzhen and Beijing, many other cities like Chengdu, Mianyang, Neijiang, Luzhou show their interest on social enterprises. In the past, most social enterprises were in traditional economically developed areas. But now, more and more second-tier cities, even undeveloped cities, are trying to pilot social enterprises there, especially in Sichuan province. Certification is one of the most important supporting policy.
2 minutes
Next.
left.
Okay. By December 2020, there are 4 definitions of social enterprises in China. Apart from CCF certification, Beijing, Shunde, and Chengdu released their definition by governmental agencies. It can be seen from the definition that both social organizations and enterprises can apply for the certification in Beijing and CCF, but only enterprise can apply for the certification in Shunde and Chengdu. Next. Let's take a look at 2 typical cities for development of social enterprise. The first one must be the capital, Beijing. Beijing launched the social enterprise certification in 2018 and 19, and a total of 65 social enterprises have been certified. A star rating system is its distinguished feature. The higher star rate demonstrates a higher percentage of business revenue, the greater business coverage, and greater impact. Nearly half of the certified social enterprises are 1-star social enterprise in Beijing. Next. Chengdu government issued the opinion on social enterprises in 2018. Social enterprise certification and the relevant promoting policy started in the same year and has gone through 3 years. A total of 102 social enterprises have been certified. and 31 of which are Chengdu social enterprises, according to their classification. Their total assets more than 6 billion yuan. So social enterprises played an important role in social governance in Chengdu. Next. These are some logos of certified social enterprises such as Canyou, WABC, and many other outstanding companies or institutions. Next. And here is a product manual of Chengdu's social enterprises. So you can scan QR code and get the menu here. And that's my presentation here. Thank you so much.
Thank you for presentation. Professor Kwak will have comments and questions.
Hello, my name is Kwak from Yonsei University. First of all, thank you for your interesting presentation. I find it very interesting and intriguing. And I have repeatedly read your presentation file, and this is some of my summary and the comments. First of all, I think the thing that I feel particularly interesting is the social existence of social enterprise in a socialist country. So that, and then you said it's a social enterprise with, say, Chinese characteristics. So that, so to me, it seems that the Chinese social enterprises are something to aim for the value and the norm other than the universal one. So then I understand the social enterprises are somehow fit for the Chinese context. And these are the relevant to my comments. Usually when somebody says it's social enterprise, we mean, and this concept deeply rooted in the sociology, denotes the independent, or assumes the independent civil society. Then in China, can we understand the social without the Western notion of the civil society or the reach of the state? So can we understand the social enterprise as a social here, say, socialist enterprise? Okay? So that's one comment that I have. And then I came to think, usually right now in Korea, we have lots of social enterprises, and these many of these social enterprises are private. So that private versus social, so that when they have certain ideas, inventions, innovations, we kind of think that that's a private vis-a-vis the social or the government. But then in China, some approaches, ideas, and the inventions, innovations, if those are created, what can it be the, say, state-initiated, approved, sponsored social innovation or social enterprise? Can we understand in that way? And then if that is the case, what would be the distinction between the social enterprise, Chinese social enterprise, and the 合作式, the 합작사 in Korean? So the collaboration or the collaboration organization, what would it say the identity, the governance identity? Finally, is there any possibility or the prospect for collaboration with the Korean firms? So there's Chinese social enterprises. So for example, the SK's Zhang Yanbang, this kind of the quiz program based on the high school students, can it be a kind of the, say, social enterprise? Or so what if the multinational enterprises in China do something similar approach? Can we understand that as a social enterprise? So this, well, in China, the existence of social enterprise is just burgeoning. And I welcome such efforts, more efforts for thinking about the welfare of the society is very welcoming as a business researcher. But then this concept is very brand new, so that we need to think about how we should understand. That's it about my comments. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Zhang. Can you respond this question?
Yes. Can I give some feedback now?
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you for your feedback and comments and questions. And for the first question, actually, frankly speaking, it is a little difficult for me to answer it. But I just mentioned that Chinese social enterprises have great potential to tackle with societal challenges and unmet needs. Although we are a country of socialism, there is still some unmet needs and challenges for the society. So we still have some space for the social enterprises to grow. So my opinion, not the fact. So that's my feedback for the first question. Thank you. And for the second question, just like Dr. Shi mentioned before, we have no legal structure and formal registration method or approach for the social enterprises, and we hope to see it can be fixed in the future, and the government. It will depend on what social enterprises show their innovation results, impact results, or any other skills to the society. So this may be a problem or the question for the future. So we are waiting to see the future. So the third question, I am willing to see more collaboration between China and Korea, and especially in the certification area. So if you have any method or approach or any questions on certification, I am so willing to know more about your approach, and I will give more our approach to you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for the comment back.
Thank you for response. Last speaker is Professor Feng. She will brief presentation on the multiple case study on organizational resilience in social enterprise. Please keep the time. Professor Feng?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes, I'm here. Thank you. Yeah, I'm going to share my screen. Hello? Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. I'm Tilly Feng from the University of Electronic Science and Technology of China. Thanks for the hoster invite for here to share one of my research recently with my graduate students. We're doing a research on the social enterprise and organizational resilience in China. We use the method of multiple case study. Actually, as just the last presenter, we actually say the social enterprise. Okay, oh, sorry, I have to share. Okay. Yeah, we got to know the social enterprise in China actually is still at the very early stage. I remember from 2015, at the first conference hosted in Shenzhen, and then from that thing, there are kind of the social enterprise become a kind of a hot topic in China. But still, it grows, the development is still kind of slowly. So, but we always we are all kind of witness the social enterprise actually is playing a promising force or kind of for the social problem in China, and we can say those data from the social enterprise come from a different industry, and they care about different social issues which are very important in China. Actually, in Beijing, Shanghai, and Shenzhen, even especially in Chengdu, where my university is located, here we are doing the certifying and nurturing a group of a social enterprise. So from this picture, we can say from 2015 to 2019, actually those are the main cities like Chengdu, Shenzhen, Beijing, Shanghai, and Hangzhou. Those are the main cities in China who they put efforts to promoting the social enterprise. Especially in Chengdu, it issued a kind of a document from the government to put a lot of effort they made a lot of effort to improve this social enterprises in Chengdu. So it's started later, but it's kind of now it's kind of in the very in the head of the ranks. So totally, I think totally from 2015, recently we have about totally today we have already certificated 508 social enterprise. You can see it's still not a big number, but we are still going on. So in Chengdu, I'd like to say from 2018 started the local certification for those social enterprise. We can see now it's already totally we have that 176. Yeah. The local is it's totally we have that's 7. Let me say it's 72. Okay, so but in 2020 we noticed a kind of a phenomenon. We have a kind of a survey. We did a survey for the impact of the COVID-19, and during from the data analysis, we found it's already exposed some low risk tolerance of some social enterprise. It's kind of we can see from the data. Only quite a few, about I think it's about 4% shows they are not affected by the COVID-19, but many of the social enterprise, like 34.8%, they think they can only maintain the operations, and 28. Sorry, I have to close the my door. Excuse me, it's still holiday, I'm at home. Thank you. Okay, so 28 of the social enterprise, they showing the exposed, they are less affected, but 19% of those social enterprise, they say that they are suspended their operations. So even 12% of the companies think they are facing collapse crisis. So that's a kind of, we think about how, that means a kind of a very low risk tolerance. how those social enterprise, how about their sustainability? So we think about those, how to continue those social enterprise. So we are thinking about the questions, what capacity are formed for social enterprise to address these challenges, and also what factors affect the organizational resilience of social enterprise, because the social resilience actually during the big disaster and especially the COVID-19, a lot of people talking about the organizational resilience. So actually, the organizational resilience is really important to our corporate sustainability. It's kind of a capability you have when you're facing. It's very necessary when you're facing and changing business, or every business facing the changing business environment, and also the organizational resilience, the improving organizational hard and soft capabilities. So also it's providing an important competitive advantages. Like Bernard said, it's kind of a competitive advantage. So actually, organizational resilience is necessary for the sustainability of social enterprise. There are some scholars already predicted that when faced with sudden changes, adverse situations, and extreme events, social enterprise may exhibit instability such as mission drift, financial failure, organizational damage, and the transition to new organizational forms or structures. And also, avoid these cases, social enterprise resilience is imperative. So what is social organizational resilience? Actually, different research perspectives exist in different disciplines among the previous study. They have the different perspective as to take the organizational resilience as a capacity, or it's taken as a process or trial or outcome. Especially the capacity, they think it's a kind of ability to continuously rebuild or renovate and add values, process of behaviors, and facilitate the organizational continuity, and or some kind of ability to anticipate, avoid, adjust the shocks in the environment. This kind of perspective of the capacity. So we very much focus on these dimensions in the perspective of capacity. There are some representative scholars. They are in the perspective of capacity. They have those kind of dimensions like monitor, react, predict, the capability of predict or learning or adaptability, planning, or a kind of responsiveness or sustainability or flexibility or situational awareness, magnificent of critical weakness. That's a kind of the dimensions of the inspective of capacity of the organizational resilience. So actually, there are some points about the organizational resilience. The two main functions of the organizational resilience is about the ability to absorb shocks and still maintain function. The second one is the ability to update, reorganize, and develop the organization's broader organizational system. So also we have the scholar mentioned that organizational resilience can grow and evolve over time. The organizational resilience applies not only to adverse external situations, but also to day-to-day operational challenges. Those are the previous scholars. They point out those kind of points, but still there are kind of but still the research on the organizational resilience of social enterprise is lacking. Yang and Kim first applied resilience theory to social enterprise stability analysis in 2015, indicated that organizational governance, financial incentive systems, organizational snag lists, and leadership affect the stability of social enterprise. Since then, researchers have studied the resilience of social enterprise in different regional contexts, suggesting that some fragment organizational elements, resources, and capabilities that are conducive to developing organizational resilience as well as related strategies. But still, there are quite a kind of research gaps. The existing literature has not yet systematically proposed the information mechanism of organizational resilience of social enterprise. Much of the research has focused on external situations such as emergencies, natural disasters, or crisis management, and less on the organizational resilience required for the day-to-day business challenges of the firm. So social enterprise are still at an early stage of development in China, and their ability to cope with uncertainty risks can help promote their sustainable development. But there is a lack of research on the organizational resilience of social enterprise in Chinese context. So we have the questions of what capacities are formed for social enterprise to address these challenges concerning internal and external of their organization, and what factors affect the organizational resilience of social enterprise. We use the multiple case study and to analyze to answer those questions. So we choose the four cases. We have the sample selection criteria. Since for the organizational resilience, we have to think about those companies. It has to be non-enough to show the resilience. So it has to be established for more than 10 years, have survived the startup period, and showing is already certificated as a social enterprise in Chengdu to ensure consistent social enterprise judgment criteria. The third is from different service fields. We have good reputation and social influence in their respective field. The fourth is support the work of the study, such as field work and interviews, and when to provide appropriate internal information. They have to agree our interviews. So under those selection criteria, we have 4 cases.
Professor Fong, 2 minutes is left.
Hello.
Yes, 2 minutes left.
Okay, thank you. So that's for 4 cases. It's in their area. Those are their kind of their basic characteristic of the 4 cases. So we connect the data for the first head. We have an interview, a lot of interview many times, and also we have the second hand data. And then we have the data analysis with open coding with our students and our professors, and also actual coding and selective coding, those kind of things. Then we got the coding result. We found there are internal and external operation crisis and event shock, and those are kind of those are challenges for this social enterprise. There and the necessities of resilience And then we got this capacity of those social enterprise. They have the prevention capacity, contextual perception, and adaptability and recovery capability. That's the kind of capacities for resilience. And then we found those kind of capacity that come from the competitive consciousness. They have the those kind of social entrepreneurship. They have the innovation consciousness. They have the crisis consciousness and the responsibility consciousness. So we have the sustainability, competitiveness, and stakeholder support. That's the factors who can influence the resilience. So we finally set up a our findings and found those external event shock and internal operation crisis. They're showing this the kind of in the capacity for the resilience, the kind of set up a kind of capability. But those kind of capabilities, they're kind of very much influenced or affected by the factor of the from the social entrepreneurship and the stakeholder support and also they have the in that way they got the sustainable competitiveness. So that's my conclusion. Okay, with this paper, we have some contribution for the identify the dimension of organizational resilience of social enterprise and complementing the empirical study of the OR in the context of internal business challenges, presenting the influence factor and application context of organizational resilience of social enterprise in Chinese context. For sure, we have a lot of limitation in this in the research. I think the future research they use other methods like COCA or exploring the negative of the limitation of the organizational resilience also could be concerned. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Sorry that we will not give enough time because we will have a next session after this session. Okay.
Sure. Thank you.
Last panel is Professor Lee. Professor Lee will have a comment and questions.
Hi, I'm Kampyo Lee at the Seogang University of Business School, and I thank you. I appreciated your interesting presentation on the interesting topic. And given that we do not have much time left, so I'll try to make my comments short. I have a few questions about your paper. So to begin with, I just wondered what so your topic is about the social enterprises in China, but I could not but help wonder, given that the countries differ widely in their institutional environments, and also given that the countries have different social issues, so the relative importance of social issues in different countries are most likely to differ. So I kept wondering how the social enterprise in China is defined. So I presume that countries may differ in how they define social enterprise. So I thought that it could be informative that if you provided that how the social enterprises is defined in China more specifically, and also I think it's in page 3. I noticed that. Okay, so China began to give certificate for social enterprises relatively recently. According to your data, it shows that it began from 2015. So it began issuing certificates for the social enterprises. But I noticed that the number of social enterprises that has been certified in China has, since around 2017 or definitely after 2018, it rather declined instead of beginning to increase. So you gave a data for the number of social enterprises certified in 5 cities, but if we exclude Chengdu, which is the city where you reside at currently. But if we exclude Chengdu, then the number of certified social enterprises rather declined. It seems quite rather dramatically. So the number of social enterprises certified in 2019 is less than 20 firms certified in four cities other than Chengdu. So it seems to suggest that the importance of social enterprises, at least according to this data, is the importance of social enterprises in China seems to be decreasing rather than increasing. So, I'm quite serious. I'm quite curious whether there has been some changes in the social or government's view regarding this matter. So that's my first question. So also, I thought it would be more informative if you could provide more detailed information about the current status of the development of social enterprises in China. So that's my first question or comments. And then my second comment is that, your findings are about through this study, you try to identify factors that influence capacities for resilience, and factors, as you identified influencing factors of resilience. So it seems to me the main objective of this study is to identify factors that affect the capacities for resilience and factors that influence resilience. But I'm quite confused why these two constructs differ. Isn't the capacities for to me it seems factors influencing resilience, doesn't it refer to the factors that affect or enhances the organizations for resilience? So basically what I'm suggesting is that the two main constructs, that is capacity for resilience and influencing factors of resilience, it does to me there's some ambiguity between the relationship between the two capacity, and I'm to be frank, I do not think that these two constructs is for the moment being is not sufficiently differentiated. Then my final remark is that I acknowledge that your paper does not touch on the issue of the potential for international cooperation, but given that the topic of this session is the social enterprises in China and the potential for cooperation between Korea and China. So I'd like to ask for your opinion as to the your view as to some future fruitful avenue for the cooperation between the two countries regarding the development of social enterprises. Okay, thanks for your interesting presentation again.
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you. That's really, I'm very much appreciated for those questions. Thanks a lot. So I think the first question about the defining of the social enterprise in China. Actually, in Chengdu, I know there are even there are many different definitions in varied countries, especially even in China, we have the different definition between different provinces. Like in Shenzhen, probably different with in Chengdu. Chengdu, I think there are not of dispute about the definition. But first, I only want to say in Chengdu, those social enterprise, they have to be complete. They are not NGOs, they are not NPOs, they are company. They are registered in the market. That means they commercial bureau than before. So it's different. It's quite different with NGO, NPO. It's said it's company. So other definition criteria like the you have to be so for social mission or those kind of issue. I think there are a lot of discussion. I don't want to here to say the definition. But why you have a very good question about why the number of this social enterprises kind of decreasing. I think in Chengdu, at least in Chengdu, is increasing. Even from the PPT, we can find that there are a lot of companies that begin to apply as a social enterprise. But in Chengdu, the increasing speed is not very high. The first year we only have 12. The second year we have 37. The third year we have 36. But actually in 2021 we have 39 actually. So it's kind of increasing, but the government is kind of involved in the certificate. They think we have to be seems like this social enterprise. We have a kind of strict standard for them. They have to be a kind of a model for other companies to be for social good. So to address those social issues. So it's a kind of increasing, but it's not very quickly. In whole China, I think the numbers is some kind of decreasing in the 2020 because many of the provinces, many other cities, they did not give any certificate anymore because of the COVID-19 in 2020, and also some of the cities like Shenzhen or there, I don't know the reason. Maybe change the government officers there. They stopped the certificate, but they are still trying to start again. So it sometimes is really in different situation. So that's concerned with the last question about well, there are probably some kind of a potential collaboration between like South Korea or with China. I think that's really fantastic. I think even if the social enterprise is from the historical view, it's still new. We can learn a lot from Korea is much earlier than in China. We can work together. We can learn from Korea to have those experience or avoid some kind of lessons, right? So even not only from the practitioner way, not only from the from the practitioners, maybe we can invite those social enterprise to kind of they can communicate to each other or collaborate to each other, and also from the academic way, especially from the academic way, there are a lot of potential to do some research together, especially because we have a very different the institutional environment. We have very different social problems there. We also have even for those entrepreneurs, their spirit, their culture, their effort to address those social problems. I think there do have a lot of potential. We can work together for those social problem solving. For the social innovation.
Professor Fong, your time is over. So sorry. We will hear your opinion next time or email, right?
Okay,
thank you.
for sure, yeah.
Yes. I appreciate to all speakers and panels. This presentation and discussion must be useful for our audience. Finally, I'm grateful to Professor Jingyun Shi from Renmin University of China. He has arranged this forum over the past years. Thank you. It is supposed to end this session. 이상으로 이 세션을 마치도록 하겠습니다. 감사합니다.